What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Alex here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to shoot $1,000,000 hooks with just your iPhone that can hit 30 to 50% plus hook rates. And I'm literally going to spoon feed you the exact system that I use to create hooks that have generated millions of dollars in revenue. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions in the space is that the visual aspect of your hook is the most important aspect of your hook. That is completely wrong. The copy that you use is the most important. Second is going to be the visual aspect, and third is going to be the audio that you use. In this video, I'm going to show you how to actually properly construct all three of these elements into hooks that print all with your iPhone. Now, I want to go ahead and just show you guys some social proof on this in terms of ads that we have scaled the shit out of in the past. You can see this one here has a 37% hook rate. We spent in just this one ad set about 30 grand on it, and in a few others we've spent equal amounts. I think over 6 figures in just this ad. This is another one over here that had 37% as well. Also spent 6 figures on it, as well as this one here that had a 41% hook rate. That also got 6 figures to spend on it. Now, check this out. All of these hooks, except one of them that we'll talk about, were shot right there. So I literally like to shoot a lot of my hooks and content directly with my phone. And I want to explain a little bit on how you want to approach all of this. Now, before we actually go into these examples and how to use your phone to shoot these hooks, I want to touch base on hook rate. This is one of the metrics that most advertisers actually don't even have inside of their accounts. And I want to show you guys how you can add this inside of your account. It's very simple. You're going to want to just go into your columns here, click customize columns, and then you're going to want to click on custom. Now, once you're at custom, you can click create custom metric. And to get hook rate inside of your account, you're simply going to type in 3-second video plays, and you're going to divide that by impressions. You're going to want to make sure your format here is set to percentage, and you're going to want to name this hook rate. Click create metric. It's going to pop up over here. You select it, and then you can add it inside of your columns, hit save, and you're good to go. Now, the target hook rate that you're going to want to be going for is over 25%. Typically, if it's under 25%, that means there's room for improvement. And if you're hitting 30, 40, 50+% hooks, that means you're doing a good job. Most people obsess over click-through rate, CPMs, ROAS, but if your hook is trash, nothing else matters. You've lost the game in the first 1.7 seconds. Every $1 million hook has 3 components, and again, most people get that ratio completely wrong. The first component is going to be the copy that you use. This isn't what you show, it's what you say. The text, the question, the statement. That most people think visuals matter most. Wrong. Copy is 80% of your success. The second component is going to be the scroll stopper. This is going to be the visual that makes the thumb freeze. And with your phone, you have 3 types that print money. You have motion. This is going to be dropping something, catching something, camera moving while they are visually looking at the content within the first second and a half. There's also transition hooks that you'll see Hermosi uses a lot. There's one lady that we're going to look at here called Judy's Family Cafe. She does a lot of these. And then there's also reaction hooks. These are going to be genuine emotion reactions that are going to stop people in their tracks. The third component is going to be audio. This is the least important, but it still matters. Most people watch without sound anyways, but that 5% can be the difference between a 30% hook rate and a 50% hook rate. Now, before we get into actually looking at these hooks, I want to have you guys think about something. You need to give people a reason to keep watching within the first 1.7 seconds, or they will be gone. As you are coming up with hooks, ask yourself, why should somebody keep watching this? And if you cannot come up with a reason, you're going to need a better hook. One of the best ways to do this is to either foreshadow something to give them a reason to watch, like something is going to be happening, or other types of copy that are going to pique their curiosity. Let's go ahead and watch this one here, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. This is one of the hooks that have printed really well for us earlier this year for Valentine's Day. If your girl has a dog, you're going to want to hear this. If your girl has a dog, you're going to want to hear this. You can see all 3 elements in this piece of content playing together. We have copy over here that's saying POV, she has a dog. What this is doing, this is speaking to absolutely everybody who knows a female who has a dog. We also have this red flag emoji and this dog emoji. The red flag emoji, people are immediately wondering, well, what's the red flag? If my girl has a dog, what's the red flag? They're curious, right? So this here alone is making people want to keep watching to have a better understanding of, okay, my girl has a dog, what's the red flag? And you can see I'm also squeaking a ball here at the beginning. That's kind of a visual as well as an audio hook that's stopping people in their tracks. Your girl has a dog, you're gonna wanna hear this. And I'm directly calling out the target demographic within the first 3 seconds by literally telling people, if your girl has a dog, you're going to want to hear this. Let's take a look at a few more examples. This is another one that we've spent 6 figures on this over this last year. You can see this piece of content starts with a reaction. I'll go ahead and play it.
It's the most wonderful time.
Right? So again, 3 seconds and then we're switching. And that's another big part of this that I want you guys to understand. Your hook needs to last 3 seconds and then you want to switch it. There's a psychological switch there that after 3 seconds happens. And if you can switch right out of your hook within 3 seconds to showcasing something else that's visually tying into the narrative that you're playing, you're going to have a significantly higher retention rate. If your hook lasts significantly longer, it's going to potentially be dropping off more and you're going to have a lower hook rate. I want to touch a little bit on the copy that is being used here. You can see we're saying this is your sign to get mom the pet face necklace. Now, the curiosity that this is invoking is what's in quotation marks, the pet face necklace. Well, what is the pet face necklace? One might wonder, right? We can see we have this girl that is reacting here. This is a great example of a really good reaction hook. You can see how she's very genuinely reacting. Now, I found that these work best when they're shot super candid. If you can make it look like somebody is literally in a fucking corner shooting the shot of somebody reacting to it, that's going to make it seem a lot better, a lot more real, and people are going to resonate with it a lot more. And you can see that the audio that we're utilizing here is just Christmas music in the background, right? So we're creating curiosity with the text that we have on screen. We're emphasizing that curiosity by showcasing a gift, a reaction of a gift that's being given. And then after 3 seconds, we're jumping into the bulk of the content, which is clear product showcase in our case here. Let's dive into this third example here that's going to be showcasing you a perfect example of a movement hook.
Every once in a while, if you're really lucky, you might.
Right? So first 3 seconds, look at what we're doing. We're shaking a bag that has a bunch of boxes and those boxes are falling out.
Every once in a while, if you're really...
Again, look at the copy. This is your sign to get her the pet face necklace. Well, what is the pet face necklace? Gives them curiosity, makes them want to see more. Before we go into the settings that you want to be utilizing on your phone to shoot this type of content, if you guys want to actually get 100 viral hook examples here, both the format and example, shoot me a message on Instagram. Just literally send me a message on Instagram. I will send you this file. Now, the settings that I like to utilize on my phone to shoot really good hooks is as follows. I like to shoot at 4K at 30 frames per second, not 24, not 60, 30. I like to have grid lock on. This is going to show you the grid on the screen. I like to have exposure locked. You can tap and hold to lock it. And I like to use either a 1x lens for products like you're seeing here, or a 0.5 lens for wider shots. I don't typically like to use digital zooms. Instead, I like to take my phone and physically move it closer to the product, which is going to get you a much cleaner shot. For motion hooks, as we can see here, I like to start the recording right before the motion. I like to have the motion happen. In this example, we have boxes that are coming out of a bag and being dropped. And then as soon as that motion is done, I like to cut it and switch to the next scene. For transition hooks, I want to take a look at a few examples here since we didn't tie on them yet. And then I'm going to explain how I like to shoot these. Let's take a look at pancakes over here, which I'm sure you guys have all seen. Great, this was a beautiful example of that. So can you see how we started off with some type of really crazy visual that is also moving, right? So a lot of these that you're gonna see that transition also start as movement hooks, and we can take a look at a few more examples that you'll see here. What I like to do when you're actually shooting these, you wanna make sure you're following that movement. So whatever movement you're using, from whether it's a viral piece of content, whether it's a meme, you want to just make sure that that same movement is being followed through as you shoot it yourself. This is another really good example.
Judy, I have the best pancake. Come for breakfast.
This is pretty cool how they constructed this piece of content here, where they had it start off with a different type of motion here. They started this off at a girl at a concert who gets her phone taken, and now, you know, go and record next to the stage, and then it transitions here. Again, same type of movement. You want to really make sure you nail that down, or it's not going to work at all. And you can see they brought the phone back here and then transitioned into Judy looking fucking epic with her pancakes. Movement hook. Somebody flips, and you can see Judy there on the floor.
Yeah, I'm okay.
For transition hooks like these, check out Judy's Family Cafe. I know Hermosi also does a bunch of these. They're super easy to create, and you can actually get the initial hooks literally on the internet from different viral content, whether it's memes, whether it's crazy things that are happening visually, crashes, incidences. You can take those and then continue to record something very similar that's going to tie into your narrative. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Now here's where everybody absolutely fucks up. They make one hook and then they pray. That's wrong, right? You need to be testing as many hooks as possible per week, okay? I'm gonna give you guys my exact framework on how I like to test hooks. The way I like to do it is I like to utilize winning variables for the middle and kind of end of the piece of content, and literally just swap out the different hooks that are being tested in order to find what is working better. One really good example here is with this exact same piece of content that we were looking at here that had, I think this one had a 37% hook rate. I want you to focus here on after the hook. So if we take a look at this piece of content again, you can see right after the hook, we started off with just showcasing very clear product showcase, and take note of this sequence, right? So watch the sequence for a couple of seconds and you'll see what I mean. Cool, so that's the sequence. If we take a look over here, you're gonna see that we have ran this exact same sequence with very similar copy in the past. I'll just go ahead and play it, and you can see it's literally the exact same sequence. Now, this sequence worked well for us in the past, but it had a fucking 15% hook rate, right? If you kind of look through this, you can see the hook rate was not strong at all. So the way I like to approach things is I like to take something like this that already has a little bit of it's working in it, right? And I like to then take and inject additional hooks in front of that to see, can I get a new hook that's going to work well for this sequence that is going to outperform the previous one. Now, you have to make sure that that transition works well. Just how we were talking about Judy's pancakes over there, you need to make sure that the transition works. If it doesn't work, it's going to have a huge drop-off rate after you actually switch out. If you guys would like more sauce on hooks, you can actually go to my SaaS that I'm building, ecom.live. Go to the search bar and just type in hook. And there's loads of different content on hook swapping strategies, creating hooks for different events like Valentine's Day, how to create fire hooks, and a bunch of other content that you can access completely for free. And if you'd like to work one-on-one with myself, you can do so as well. I have 2 more spots available for the month of November here. If you're interested, you can opt in the pricing page. And again, if you're interested in grabbing this hook swipe file, feel free to DM me on Instagram. That's pretty much the entire system. Track your hook rate, understand that copy is the most important variable, followed by your visuals and your audio. Give people a reason to keep watching, shoot with the right iPhone settings, and test relentlessly. You guys literally have 0 excuses now. The difference between you and people banking millions, they track their hook rates and test 10 plus hooks a week. You test one and you wonder why you're broke. Now stop watching this and go shoot. Your phone is literally $1 million camera if you understand the science. Most people don't. Now you do. Make your hooks not suck. Peace.